Okay, listen, did you meet Matthias? Did you like his story? Isn't that crazy? I was there, I saw it go down, baby. And I'll also tell you, he did not tell you, but those guys, those Pharisees, they're not happy with him. Everywhere we went with Jesus, for 3 years we traveled with him, and people loved him, and people, what do you think? Hated him. He was very polarizing, you know? In fact, they tried to stone him. Did he tell you that? The Pharisees picked up stone to stone him more than once. And so you fast forward now a few months, and while we are down by, we went back to where I originally met John the Baptist, okay, down by the Jordan. And while we're there, messengers come. One messenger, actually. He's from our friends. Have you ever heard about Mary and Martha and Lazarus? Have you? Yes. They are some of our closest friends. They live just a couple miles away from Jerusalem in a city called Bethany. Everybody say Bethany. Yeah, so pretty close to Jerusalem. And I'll tell you this, do you ever have friends, and when you're traveling, if you know you're going to be close to their house, you're going to carve out some extra time to go see them, take a little detour, right? Hey, other people could invite you to their house for dinner, but listen, if this option is on the table, whose house you want to go to? The ones you love, right? This was for us, Lazarus and his two sisters, Mary and Martha. They're incredible. We love them. We laughed with them. Lazarus had a great sense of humor. He was the kind of guy, he threw a good dinner party, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you, it's because his sister Martha, she makes sure everything's perfect. Do you know anybody like this in your family? In your life? Everything is perfect. Everything's got to be clean. You know, if you're having company over, this is the mom that's like, clean your room, wash the bathroom, wash the floors. Yeah. Everybody, because everybody's got to be perfect before the company comes, huh? This is Martha. So the house always look good, smell good, you know? Mary, though. Wow. Oh, we love Martha, and we had good relationship with Martha, but Mary, you have these people in your life who are such good listeners. They give you your full attention. They ask good questions. They just love so deeply, you know? People talk about the task-oriented people and then the relationship people, you know? Huh? This is Mary, love to be with people. Let Martha do everything, right? We were there one time. It was funny because just like Mary's way, as the Lord is sitting with people and, you know, Lazarus and stuff, and he's teaching and talking, where do you think Mary is? She's sitting right at his feet, right there, like this. She just loves to listen to him, be right there. And it was funny because Martha comes from the kitchen area. She comes over and she goes, like a grown woman, she goes, Lord, tell my sister to help me. I'm doing all the work, and don't you see? She's not doing anything. Oh. And the Lord actually said to Mary, it was to Martha actually, she said, listen, Martha, you're busy doing many things, but she's chosen the better thing. Oh, no, you didn't. You know? So it was kind of funny. The Lord loves both of them. And so we are down by the Jordan River, and this messenger, one of the servants in Lazarus' house, comes. We knew him. And he came to the Lord and he said this. You ready? Lord, the one that you love is sick. Who do you think he's talking about? Yeah, Lazarus, we knew. He says, the one that you love is sick. Well, I'm telling you, we had been sitting when he arrived. Right away, I'm up, like we're going. Jesus heals complete strangers, right? So when he hears that one of his beloved friends is sick, we're gonna go, right? Right? Obviously. So we're up like this, and the Lord looks at this man, and he says, this sickness will not end in death. This is for the glory of God. Oh, right away, I'm like, I get it. I've seen him do this before. Read the book. I included this story about when an official, he came to Jesus in Canaan, and he had a son that was sick back home. Do you know this story? He came to Jesus and he said, my son is sick. Come to my house. Please heal him. And Jesus said, go. Your son is well. Oh, so this is what you're doing. Because when that man got home, his son was fine. So we thought this is how he's healing Lazarus this time, right? We don't even have to go. He just healed him like that. Oh, cool. Good job, Jesus, right? So then we stayed and we were there a couple more days, And then the Lord said, this is what was so peculiar. Then the Lord says to us, okay, guys, we need to go to Bethany. Lazarus has fallen asleep. We're like, well, if he fell asleep, he's going to wake up. Why you got to go and wake him up? That's really weird. Plus, don't you remember? It was just a little bit ago that they wanted to stone you in Jerusalem. And Bethany is just a couple miles away. This is not responsible for us to go there. You know what I mean? And the Lord says, no, we are going. And they're like, we just kept saying, why? This is not a good idea. And if he's just sleepy, he's going to be fine. And then that's when the Lord looked at it. Because we don't get it. We are thick sometimes, right? The Lord looks at us and he goes, he's dead. I meant he's dead. And I was shocked. I looked at the Lord and I'm like, why would you let him die? And in my heart, I don't understand. Because this is one of his best friends. Why, if he loved him so much, why would he let him die? And then he goes on to say something even weirder. He said, and I'm glad that I wasn't there to heal him, so that you will believe. Believe what? That you don't care for your friends? Like, what are you going to try and show us through this one? Oh, I don't like funerals. I don't like this. People are mourning and sad, and these are our closest friends. And he says, let's go? Come on. And we're in danger? So we went, we followed the Lord. Thomas was funny. Thomas goes, let's go and die with the Lord. Okay. So we went, and before we even got into Bethany, we were approaching the gate. Guess who comes running out to him? Martha. Martha came running out to the Lord. And when she got to him, she said, the overflow of her heart, she said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. What did she say? Let me say it again because this is important. She said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. You see, Martha knew who Jesus was. Martha did not question Jesus' power and authority. She knew exactly who Jesus was. But why didn't you come? Can you hear that question in it? So why didn't you come? And the Lord looked at her and said, some things that you can read, but he said to her, Martha, your brother will rise again. And she said, I know my theology, I know that on the last day he will rise again from the grave. And he said, no, Martha, if you believe, you will never die. I am the resurrection and the, anybody? Life. Again, he says these big statements that are just kind of like, what does that even mean? And then he said, go get Mary. Because listen, who normally would be the first person to come out and greet Jesus? Normally, who would it be? So why didn't she? Why wasn't she out here first? We stayed out there waiting a little bit, and then we saw Mary come out. But I'll tell you what, she's got tears in her eyes. You could tell that she had been weeping. But she did not come and stand before Jesus. Do you know what she did? She went to the place with Jesus that she's most comfortable with. She fell at his feet. And she said this. Tell me if it sounds familiar. She said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. How is it that two sisters, separate from each other, are saying the exact same thing? Do you think that they've been talking about this? Do you think that somebody has been maybe bringing this up with them? Well, listen, when she came out, everybody that was in the house, there were so many Jews that loved Lazarus and his family. So when they knew that he was dead, they came for the funeral. They came from Jerusalem. So there's many Jews there. Some that love Jesus and some that hate him. And they're feeling them. And when they saw that Mary got up and went outside, they thought that she was going to the tomb to mourn her brother. You know, we do this sometimes. Do you go to, what's the place called where you bury your loved ones? What's it called? A cemetery? Okay, so anybody ever go to a cemetery? Just, you know the person isn't there anymore, but you just kind of, is a closeness. You grieve them. This is what they thought. Mary's going to the tomb to grieve a little bit. So they all got up to be able to support her, to be with her, right? So when she came and she met Jesus, they are there with her. And you know, when Mary said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died, I noticed something about Jesus. He started to get a little agitated, a little upset. Listen, we asked him afterwards. He was not upset with Mary. This is what he was upset at. He said, show me where you've laid him. And she led him to the tomb. And when they got there, listen, I saw Jesus weep. And as he's weeping, those people, those Jews, some of them said this, look how he loved him. Look how much he loved him. He's weeping over him. He misses him so much, right? But some of those other Jews, do you know what they said? I heard them. They said, couldn't this one who opened the eyes of the blind have saved her brother from dying? What are they calling into question with Jesus? His power? No. What are they calling into question? His love. Is he good? And Jesus told us afterwards, this still aches his heart today. I have to tell you this. There are some times when you won't doubt that God is God, right? You know it. You read the book. You hear it from your parents. You learn it at school. You know that God is God. But sometimes when things don't go the way that we want, the way that we expect him to do things, sometimes, you know, the whisper of the enemy will say to your heart, what? Is he good? Does he care? Does he really love you? And that is something that truly aches his heart. Just because things don't go the way that you expect, the way that I want, we need to trust his heart. He knows what he's doing. And guys, I was with Jesus. For the 2 days we waited before we went, he wanted to go. It was in him to go, but he didn't. And do you know why he didn't go? Because his father told him to wait. And he came to do whose will? His father's will. Not just his own. He loved Lazarus. He did not want his sisters to go through the pain. He loved them. He would love to rescue them from it and heal him. But his father said, wait, I know best. I'm going to do something through this. And Jesus was willing to say, yes, your will be done. But the fact that it caused these ones that he loved to question whether he loved them. Listen, it's okay for you to question. But the answer is always the same. He loves you. And He only ever does what's best for you. So as we're standing before the tomb, listen to this. Jesus, He stopped weeping. He stood up and He said, roll this stone away. Remove this stone. And you know what Martha says? She goes, Lord, he's going to stink because he's been in there 4 days. And the Lord said, didn't I tell you to just do what I said and you would see the work of God? She's like, oh, okay. Remove the stone. And we're watching from the sidelines, still watching, right? And they moved this stone, because this is how it was for us. The tombs, it was carved out from the stone. They would lay the body in, and then they would move the stone back in front of it, like to cover the entrance. So to move the stone, you had to take the wedge, and move it. It was some work. They rolled the stone away. No smell. And Jesus stood there, and He said this. Are you ready? 3 words. Lazarus, come out. Do you know? If He didn't put Lazarus in the front of that, everybody be getting out of the graves, Whoa, that would be a party, But as soon as He says that, you could see into the tomb, this spot where they lay the body. In our custom, you take great care and you wrap the person's body in linen. You wash them, you wrap them spices, So it's like a mummy, okay? And all of a sudden, the mummy starts to move. The mummy's legs go like this. And the mummy sits up like this. And stands up like this. And starts to come out like this. It's like a mummy penguin, Coming out of the tomb, and we're like, ah! And Martha, wow! And she comes over to Mary, the two of them are jumping up like this. I'm like, James, look it, he is alive. And it's so funny because he's got his face wrapped too, and all you hear is, and Jesus goes, somebody unwrap him. Oh, so who do you think that? Martha, right? She runs over, quickly unwraps him. He's alive. Oh, who has the power to do that? Oh, listen, it doesn't always turn out that way, right? Sometimes the person dies and they stay in the grave. But you got to know this, that God works all things together. His plan is perfect. His timing is incredible. You've just got to keep on trusting Him. He's going to do something incredible. Maybe here, for sure there. And I'll tell you, people were already following Jesus, already believing in Him. But when you bring a dead man for 4 days back to life, and that man is in front of you, you can touch him, you can listen to him. When you saw him being put in the grave and then you see him coming out, well, people are starting to believe like never before now. People are starting to come from Jerusalem to check him out. He's like an attraction, you know what I mean? Have you seen the Lazarus in Bethany? Check it out, They're coming to see him. And you know what happened? This is crazy. Do you know that those same Jews in Jerusalem are leaders who refused to listen to Jesus before? Now, do you know that they added Lazarus to the warrant? Now they want to kill him too because people are believing in Jesus through him. I'm kind of like, well, he died once. Don't you think that, I don't know. You know what I mean? Their thinking isn't really great, right? And they told everybody in that city, if Jesus shows up here, you are to tell us immediately. And there was a warrant out for his arrest. And not only did they want to arrest him, do you know what they said they wanted to do? Anybody? Kill him. And do you know what celebration was coming up? Passover. And now we're wondering, we're gonna celebrate in Galilee this year, right? Maybe not go to Jerusalem this year, Jesus. What do you think? Does Jesus hold back? Will he play it safe? Does he do the responsible thing? I don't know. You gotta wait to find out, okay? Thank you for listening, all right? We'll see you